From a guy invading the F1 track in the middle of a race, to the time diamonds went missing after a race, the Grid Report will show you the most unusual moments in F1 history. First, let's talk about how Michael Schumacher was involved in a situation that has only happened once in F1 history. The stakes were sky high, with Schumacher leading by just 1 point, and Villeneuve was determined to close the gap. Both drivers pushed themselves to the limit during qualifying, but what unfolded was pure madness. They set the exact same time, down to the millisecond. Unbelievable, right? And if that wasn't enough, Villeneuve's teammate pulled off the same feat too. Talk about an incredible coincidence. But let me tell you, the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix takes the cake for sheer craziness. It was raining cats and dogs on the track, and Jenson Button found himself starting in P7. Lap 7 brought a safety car, and that's when Button had an unfortunate collision with his own teammate Lewis Hamilton, forcing Hamilton to retire from the race. But wait, it gets even wilder. When the race resumed on lap 13, Button was slapped with a drive-through penalty for speeding behind the safety car, sending him tumbling down to 15th place. It seemed like everything was going against him. But Jenson wasn't one to give up easily. With pure determination, he fought his way through the field, overtaking others and getting back in the race. By lap 46, he zoomed past Schumacher and Webber, eyeing the top spot. But it wasn't until the final lap that the real magic happened. Vettel was leading with a 0.9-second advantage, seemingly headed for the win. But then disaster struck. At turn 6, Vettel made a costly error by running wide and spinning his RB7 under pressure. What a heart-stopping moment. And guess who seized the opportunity? That's right, Jenson Button. From last place to first, he overtook Vettel and claimed victory. It was a comeback story for the ages. Rain worked for Button, but it didn't work so well for Hamilton and others in this race. Now let me tell you folks that rain can be a game changer in F1 races, and the European GP was no exception. A monstrous rainstorm decided to crash the party at the Nürburgring circuit, and it was no ordinary rain shower, it was an absolute downpour. Drivers found themselves struggling to keep control of their cars as they navigated the slippery track. Wait, let's not forget the time some guy jumped onto the F1 track in the middle of a race. You wouldn't believe what happened during the 2015 Singapore Grand Prix. The intense race was already underway at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, and everything seemed to be going smoothly until an unexpected guest decided to make an appearance. Out of nowhere, a 27-year-old man managed to find his way onto the track, right in the middle of all the high-speed action. Can you imagine the shock on everyone's faces? Even Sebastian Vettel, the eventual race winner, couldn't believe his eyes as he spotted the intruder walking casually down Esplanade Drive near turn 13. The man, dressed in nothing more than a casual shirt and shorts, didn't seem bothered by the racing cars zooming by him. And he didn't just stroll for a few yards, no, he took a leisurely walk down the street like he was out for an evening stroll in the park. Now you might be thinking this guy had some sort of protest in mind, like others in the past. But he was just wandering around, seemingly oblivious to the adrenaline-fueled chaos around him. Thankfully, he was on the opposite side of the racing line, and just as quickly as he appeared, the intruder spotted an opening in the fence and made a daring leap over a railing near a track's marshal's post, disappearing from view like a phantom. If you thought that was crazy, then you're not prepared for this next moment. From the 1999 French Grand Prix, involving none other than the iconic Michael Schumacher. During the race, the communication between Schumacher and his pit wall suddenly went silent, leaving him with no team radio. Now you might think that's game over for getting any instructions, right? Wrong! Schumacher, being the brilliant racer he is, didn't let that minor hiccup stop him. Oh no! He put on his quick-thinking hat and came up with a genius plan. You see, even though he couldn't talk to his team, he realized that they could still see him through the onboard cameras. Instead of giving up, Schumacher unleashed his secret weapon, hand signals. Yup, you heard that right. He used his hands like a skilled conductor, waving and signaling to his team, sending messages through the camera. He ended up finishing 5th ahead of his Ferrari teammate Eddie Irvine. Now, ending up on the podium in an unexpected way is good, but what about robberies? Who can forget the tale of the lost Monaco GP diamond worth $300,000? In 2004, the Monaco Grand Prix was a glamorous affair. Even the Ford-owned Jaguar team, which later became Red Bull, didn't hold back on the extravagance. It was a diamond-encrusted party on Monaco weekend, and we mean it, quite literally. As part of a jaw-dropping sponsorship deal with the movie Ocean's 12, the Jaguar team made the absolutely mind-boggling decision to run their two F1 cars with actual diamonds set into the front nose. Yes, you heard it right, not one, but two diamonds. Now, remember, we're talking about the treacherous Monaco circuit, known for its tight and unforgiving corners. Mark Webber, the cool and skilled driver that he is, managed to navigate the race without so much as a scratch on his diamond-adorned Jaguar. But fate had a different plan for Christian Klein. The Austrian driver unfortunately lost control of his car going into lows, and oh boy, it didn't end well. No team personnel could reach him until 2 hours after the race had ended, and when they did, they made an unfortunate discovery. The diamond was gone. If that shocked you, you're not prepared for this next one. What Ayrton Senna pulled off in Brazil in 1991 was absolutely mind-blowing. Senna secured pole position, and as the race kicked off, he made a perfect start, leaving his competitors in the dust. But when Senna had to pit, his once comfortable lead was reduced to just 7 seconds by Nigel Mansell, who was relentlessly closing in on the Brazilian. To make matters worse, Senna's gearbox began to fail, and he lost his precious 4th gear. The pressure was mounting, and Mansell's determination to win was off the charts. By lap 60, Mansell had sliced Senna's lead in half, and it seemed like the race was slipping from Senna's grasp. But hold on tight, because at the 61st lap, Mansell encountered his own gearbox issue, sending him into a spin and out of contention. Now, you'd think that Senna had it all under control, right? Not so fast. Senna's gearbox was also playing tricks on him, and he lost all gears except 6th. Can you imagine the intensity of this situation? But somehow, in a display of pure wizardry, Senna managed to maintain that 6th gear all the way to the finish line, securing a jaw-dropping victory just 2.9 seconds ahead of Patrese. But here's the kicker. This race was no walk in the park for Senna. The effort to keep the car on track caused him to develop muscle cramps so severe that he had to be lifted from his car. Even standing on the podium, he needed support. And if you were surprised to see Senna win, as we were, then you should like and subscribe to The Grid Report, where we bring you the latest F1 updates.